Hello and welcome to the Bids and Tenders webinar. Today I'll be showing you a quick slide deck to give you some background information on who we are. Then we will move into a demonstration of how you can find bid opportunities, create an account, and submit an electronic bid through Bids and Tenders. Who are we? Bids and Tenders is a Canadian company founded in 2004 to help better connect suppliers and buyers. We are featured on Doing Business with Ontario governments, and we have hundreds of organizations across Canada and the United States who use the Bids and Tenders platform. This includes regions and municipalities, energy boards, school boards, post-secondary education institutions, hospitals, police, and many more. Why should you choose Bids and Tenders? We have a user-friendly interface where the system will tell you if you have forgotten to complete certain requirements, and it will prompt you to fix it. You never have to worry about accidentally submitting an incomplete bid again. This does eliminate mathematical errors as the system does the calculations for you. It is easy to upload documents and to fill out electronic forms, and the system breaks down the submission process into steps and lets you know when a step has been successfully completed, and the entire process is done entirely online. There are flexible options with your Bids and Tenders account. When you create a company profile, you can have up to 10 contacts on your account. You can easily add and remove contacts as needed. Multiple contacts can be working on a bid at the same time. All contacts receive email notifications about bids, and this helps you expand your geographical reach. And best of all, it is free to create an account and to submit a bid. With your Bids and Tenders account, you will have access to a personalized dashboard, which gives you an overview of all of your bid opportunities in one place. You do have the ability to withdraw and resume your submission as many times as you would like, and you have the ability to submit a notice of no bid. From your dashboard, you can also find bid results quickly. This is a quick snapshot of the dashboard, which I will be showing you later on in the demonstration. And lastly, if you do have any support questions, technical issues, or want to make updates to your account, we do have a vendor support team that you can find at support@bidsandtenders.ca. Now we'll move into the demonstration of the tool. So on my screen right now, I'm on bidsandtenders.ca. You can also access this website at bidsandtenders.org. This is a great area for you to go to look at all of the bids that have been posted through Bids and Tenders. If you would like to watch this webinar again, you can find it under the supplier section. When you come to this site, this is where you can search by keywords for bid opportunities. You can search by the bid status. So if you know that your bid is in an open status, or say you're looking for awarded bids, you can quickly look for them here. And you can also filter it down by organization. Down at the bottom, these are all the latest bids that have been posted through Bids and Tenders. And if you're interested in looking at one of them, you can click to view it, and it will take you directly to that organization's website, or you can click to register for it here. So if I go by the organization list and I wanted to look at all of the bids posted for the city of Lethbridge, I can filter it down to them. And here I can see they have 2 open bids. From here, when I click on view, this will take me directly to lethbridge.bidsandtenders.ca. So again, all of our organizations do have their own personalized Bids and Tenders website, but all of their public bids are posted on bidsandtenders.ca or bidsandtenders.org. On this bid details page, this is where you can find relevant bid information. This includes published dates, bids closing dates, question deadline dates, and other important information. One of the key things to look for here is finding out whether this is an online submission or a hard copy submission. One of the other features that you may see is this Submit a Question button. When I click on this button, it does tell me that I have to be a registered plan taker to submit a question, but the purpose behind this feature is to allow you to submit questions directly through Bids and Tenders. You will get a confirmation once you do submit your question, But rather than emailing or calling buyers with your questions, you can do it directly through the tool. Now, some organizations do have this restricted to registered plan takers. Some do have it open. It does vary on an organization basis. If you're looking for site meeting information, this is where you can find it, including the meeting location, a description, the date and time, and whether this is a mandatory meeting or not. Any applicable documents may be posted here as well. With bids and tenders, you do have the opportunity to preview all documents for free. So if I wanted to click on any one of these documents, when I choose to download it, what bids and tenders does is it applies a preview watermark on every single page of the bid document. The purpose is to allow for greater transparency, and you can preview the entire opportunity, including scope of work, drawings, to help you determine whether or not you are interested in bidding and participating on this particular solicitation. With this preview document, you can print it, you can save it, you can email it as well. But once you do register as a plan taker and you're logged into your account, you will be able to download this document without the preview watermark. The same applies to any addenda that has been issued. It does have its own separate section here, but if I were to download it again, I will have that preview watermark. And down at the very bottom, this is the list of plan takers. So on an organization basis, again, they may choose to disclose plan takers, whereas some may not. So this is, if it is turned on, it will be available for you here. So from here, if I am interested in bidding on this particular opportunity, I can click to register for this bid. And at this point in time, the system will prompt you to log in with your existing bids and tenders account. Now, if you do not have one, you can come here and click to create an account. And this is where you are setting up your company profile. As I mentioned in the slide deck, you can have up to 10 contacts on your company account, and all 10 individuals will have equal access into the tool, but will have their own unique login. But any 10 contacts can submit a bid on behalf of the company, or they can withdraw a bid, and everybody will get the same number of notifications. So under organization details, this is where you can fill in your legal company name, address, city, province, or state. You can indicate your website, your tax numbers. Another question that you may see is where the system asks you if you'd like to be an emergency vendor. What the purpose behind it is to create an emergency vendor list for the organization. So if there is an extreme weather situation, power outages, the organization can then refer to that list and see all of their emergency vendors that they can reach out to. So by you clicking yes here, the system will prompt you for after hours information, including cell phone numbers, home phone numbers. When you come to the category section, this is where you are picking and choosing which notifications do you want to get from the system based on your category selection. There is no limit to how many categories you can select, but you can also use the search feature to search by keywords. And what our system will do is when the organization is posting the bid, they do go through the same list of categories as you are selecting here, and our system will match the notifications between the organization and yourself. Next is agency notifications. By default, all of the organization on bids and tenders are selected, but in here you can pick and choose which organizations you actually want to get notified about, depending on your geographical location. And lastly, this is where you fill in your contact information. So in here, you can enter in your first name, last name, email. You would create a password for yourself. And if you would like, you can invite another contact. So if I wanted to add my coworker, I can do that here. And once I click continue, this will take me, the coworker will receive an email inviting them to the company account, and they will be prompted to create their own password. So again, everybody under a company account does have equal access into the tool, but everybody is logging in with their own credentials. So on the bids homepage, this is lethbridge.bidsandtenders.ca. This is strictly the bids that are posted for this particular organization. This is also where you can find our support email address. And down here, these are all of their open bids. So again, this is where you can quickly click to register for the bid, to submit a question. And by clicking on bid details, it will take you to that same screen that we were walking through before. If you are looking for any bid results, you can change the status to awarded. And then you will see all of the latest awarded bids. If I want to look for any information, it will take me back to that bid details page that I had mentioned before. But now at the bottom, you will see the unofficial results as well as the awarded results. The organization ultimately determines what information is visible publicly. So some may differ on an organization basis. In this case, I can see all of the bidders that had submitted bids for this particular opportunity, but I cannot see the actual dollar values or the results. And here I can see the awarded information too. So this is how you can look for bid opportunities. And again, on any one of our organization's websites, if you do need any sort of technical support, please do reach out to support@bidsandtenders.ca. As well, if you need to make any changes to your company account, if you needed to change your legal company name as an example, you can reach out to us and we can help you out. But now I will move into how to submit an electronic bid through Bids and Tenders. So what I'm going to do is log in through our demo website, and this does have the same look and feel as a real client site. From here, say this is the bid that I'm interested in bidding on. I can click to register for this bid, and the system will prompt me to log in with my user account. So from here, I'm going to click login. And the system will present me with terms of service. So whether this is your first time submitting a bid through Bids and Tenders or your 50th, you will always have to agree to these terms of service. So your only two options are I agree or home. So I'm going to click I agree. And once I do this, I will be presented with a page that lets me know that I have successfully registered as a plan taker. And if I click on View Bid Details, I will now be able to download all of those documents without the preview watermark. From here, I'm just going to click on Home. And this is where I can see my dashboard. So the dashboard that I had mentioned in the PowerPoint, this is personalized to your company account. So this is where you can see your incomplete bids. So this means that an addendum has been issued and I have to go back in to fix my bid. I can see anything that I may have been invited to bid on. So I would have been specifically invited by a particular organization to a bid. I can see everything that is currently active or the bid is open that I am working on and that I've registered for. So this is where you can do various actions. You can start a submission, you can resume a submission, and this is also where you can withdraw or make edits to your submission after you have submitted if the bid is still open. In here, you can also submit a notice of no bid. So what this does is if I am no longer able to bid on this project, I can submit this notice of no bid, and whoever is the purchasing representative on the other end, they will get a notification of this. So you can select your list of reasons as to why you are not bidding, click send, and the buyer on the bid will get notified. And lastly here, this is my bid submission history. So this is everything that I have bid on. The customer will have the various organizations that you have bid on. And from here, you can view your submission if it was electronic, and you can view the results from your profile as well. So here I'm going to click into that bid that I have just registered for. I'm going to click to start submission. And this is now taking me into the actual electronic bid. So what you see here, this was designed and set up by the organization that you are bidding on. And this is bid specific. So when you first come in here, one of the main things to note is this time remaining to complete submission. This is the web clock, and this will count down to that organization's local closing time and date that they have set up for the bid. So regardless of which time zone you're in, everybody does have the same amount of time, and you only have the amount of time specified on the screen. If this web clock does reach 0, you will be redirected to a page that will say that you have run out of time, and you will not be able to submit a late bid. So the system does not allow for late bid submissions. Wherever you are in the system, that web clock will remain. And if you have started a submission, the system will send you a notification 24 hours before the bid closes, just to remind you that you do have an outstanding bid in the system. Then up at the top here, this is the status bar, and this shows you your progress. And as you complete it, you will start to get green check marks in each of these steps. When you come into the actual submission, you can come in and out of this as many times as you'd like. You don't have to do the entire submission at once, and you can work in any order. So if I wanted to tackle references and subcontractors first, I can, and then I can move to pricing, documents, and so on. Because I have red exclamation marks, that does mean that I am missing mandatory information that I haven't yet completed. If I tried to click to submit my bid right now, you will see that the system does run a compliancy checker, and it does highlight every single field that is missing that I have yet to complete. From here, I can click on Fix It, and that will redirect me back to that area of the system where I can enter in that information. As mentioned before, if I do have multiple contacts on my company account, I can be working on pricing while my coworker is filling out references and subcontractors. We just can't be in the same step at the same time. And you will always be able to see who was the last individual to update this particular bid in which step. So starting on step 1, schedule of prices, this will contain any pricing forms that you would have to complete as part of this bid. Please do make note of the language and the text that you will see on the screen, and make sure to read the bid document carefully, as there may be additional information or instructions within the actual bid document itself. When you come in here, you'll see that there is always a summary table first and one form down below. So the system will always present you with a summary of all of the forms that fall under this particular section, and then it's up to you to click into each one to actually work on it. So here my first form has loaded for me. When I come in here, the only field that I can actually input is whatever the buyer has determined I can input. So in this case, I can see there's a red asterisk for this column header. So that means that every single cell in this particular column is mandatory. So as I start filling it in, the system does automatically do the calculation for me, and that's based on how, again, the organization would have set it up. The whole form is hard-coded, other than the fields that I'm allowed to input. So I can't come in here and change any quantities. The only thing that I can change is this column itself. And again, the system does the math for you. As you complete it and say I want to work on this particular form, I have to click on Edit, and it will load down below. You'll notice now that the first form does have a green check mark, and that means that I have completed all of the mandatory requirements. In this particular form, this one's a bit longer, but again, I can input my information in here and click to save. The system does auto-save once you click out of a cell. So if your computer does crash, you will not lose all of your work. You may lose only the last cell that you were currently working on. And now that I have completed both, you will see that this step does have a green check mark, and that means that I can move on. In the questions area, and again, every bid will be structured differently. In this particular one, I do have a question that I have to answer. And again, it could either be a mandatory question or an optional. So in here, it's a text box that I can type into. And then step 3, references and subcontractors. It works the same way as the pricing, but I can see where the asterisk is. So in this case, only my first row is mandatory, but my other ones are optional. So the organization can pick and choose which columns and rows are mandatory for you to complete. So I'm just going to type in some words here to meet the requirements. And with the subcontractor form, again, they can look different. In this particular one, I have to indicate whether it's with my own forces or it's subcontractors, and there are fields for me to complete. So you are aware these text box, it can hold up to 32,700 and I believe 47 characters. It is whatever the Excel limit is in one cell. So it is a fairly large size. I believe it's about 11 pages. In step 4, documents and bonding, this is where I am required to upload documents as part of my bid submission. So maybe it's a certificate, insurance, whatever it is, it will be labeled here. Again, please do watch for the bid document for any additional instructions. But in this case, you do have to select a file from your computer. And once it has uploaded, you will see a hyperlink here. So if you wanted to double check the file that you have uploaded, you do have the ability to do so. In an upload area, you can only upload one file. But if you are being asked for, say, resumes and you have 10 of them, you can upload a zipped folder into one of these fields. There is a maximum file upload size of 500 megabytes. If you're ever experiencing any issues or size restrictions, please do reach out to the purchasing department directly to let them know if you're having any issues. So here I can upload my documents, and down here, this is where I'm being asked for a bond. So depending on the type of project that you are bidding on, they may be asking for a bond. And our system supports both scanned and digital bonds. But you do have to read your documentation carefully to see what it is that particular organization is asking for, whether it's just digital bonding or a scanned and a digital bond. And lastly here, declarations and addenda it may be labeled a little bit differently, but this is where you are agreeing to terms and conditions if there are any. It will be listed here. And by you checking off this box, this does replace the physical signature that you would have done in a paper document. Here I can enter in my first name, last name, and my title. So this is whoever does have the authority to bind the company. And the system will also ask you for conflicts of interest. So if you do have a conflict, you will have to click yes. And there will be a box for you to disclose what that conflict is. Some organization may ask you for further information. But if you do click yes, you do have to fill out the box, but the system will still allow you to submit. If you don't have a conflict, you can just click no. And down at the bottom, this is where you do have to acknowledge any addenda that has been issued. So from here, you can easily click to download it to view it, but you do have to check off these boxes in order to acknowledge that you have reviewed and read all of the addenda. If I move to the preview bid section, now that I have green check marks everywhere, it does let me know that my bid has been validated successfully. And here I can see all of the forms that I have just completed in one area. So I can see everything on screen. I can see my summary table, my answers to my questions. I can also see the documents again that I have uploaded. And please be sure to double check whether or not you have uploaded the correct file and everything that you had agreed to. If you'd like to share this with somebody else within your organization, you can open this up in a PDF format and forward it off to your supervisor as an example if you need them to double check it before you submit. And when you're ready to submit your bid to that particular organization, where I had my compliancy checker before, I now have a big blue button where I can click to submit my bid now. So when I click it, it's going to ask me, are you sure you want to submit this bid? I'm going to click yes. And on average, it's about 5 to 10 seconds. This does depend on your internet speed and connection. Please do not leave this till the last minute. You do have to reach this screen right here before the bid closes. So if the bid closes while the system is processing your bid submission, it will be considered late because you had not reached this screen. But once you see this, you will see that you have successfully completed your bid submission. You'll get a confirmation from our email from our system. So if you do not get a confirmation email, again, please reach out to either the organization that you're submitting for or to support@bidsandtenders.ca. From here, you can also download a copy of your submission for your files. But if I click back to my bids, this is where, again, I can see the bids that I'm actively working on, and now the bid that I had just submitted for, I have other actions that I can complete. So here now I can edit or withdraw my submission, and I can do that as many times as I'd like, as long as I resubmit before that closing time and date. All right, so that is bids and tenders and how you would submit an electronic bid. One thing to note, though, is because addenda is mandatory, even though you've submitted your bid, the organization may still issue an addendum. And in that event, the system actually withdraws your bid and puts it into an incomplete status. You will receive a notification of this to your email, but please do make sure that you still log into your account to double check. But once your bid has been put into an incomplete status, when you log in, you will see it under the incomplete bid section. And from here, you will have to click Fix My Bid, and you will have to either go make any required changes to your bid forms, or maybe it's just a matter of acknowledging the latest addendum, but you will be required to resubmit your bid because the system only accepts complete and compliant bid submissions. So please do watch your emails, and please do check bids and tenders regularly if you are working or participating in a bid. So from there, I'm just going to click onto the contact information here on bidsandtenders.ca. If you do require any technical assistance or support, we do have our phone number listed here. So again, this is on our main website. You can click on Contact, and this is where you can find our phone number. It is 1-800-594-4798, or you can email support@bidsandtenders.ca or support@bidsandtenders.org. Right? Thank you very much for your time, and I hope you have a great day.